Yo, yo, yo. We are back. DPS podcast, that's Damage Per Second podcast. Back on a fine Thursday night. Feeling all right. That rhyme. Yeah, episode 150. Oh, man, you just hit me. We're 150 episodes.
Hey, this feels like a special number. I feel like I shouldn't even be here right now. How we doing?
Oh, no. You are exactly where you need to be, sir. And for those who want to know what that is Baron coming from Level 1 Gaming in the house. Baron, what's up, bro? How you doing, man?
Hey, you know what, man? I have ascended. I believe I put that in Twitter. I have made it. We are here. No, I really do appreciate you guys having me on the show, dude. This is badass. And it is actually really dope to be on somebody else's show to where I don't have to run anything or moderate or anything. Like I can just be here.
Right.
So thank you.
Doesn't that feel good sometimes?
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah,
that's what I love about it. I could walk in the house 15 minutes before the podcast and not have to do anything.
Oh.
That's what I love about it. Every other week, that's how it is.
Yeah, all the hard work I had to put in earlier. You guys have no idea. But it's fine. You know, it's just, I'm not complaining. I enjoy it. I love it. Right. Anyway, Forte, what's up, bro? My co-host. How's it going, man?
Yo, man, it's been good, man. I had worked earlier today. Been playing a couple of different games and stuff. I actually started that at Immortals or Aveum. I know this is the gameplay you got on the screen right now.
Oh, you started it?
Yeah, I started it yesterday.
How you like it?
It's okay. It's good. I just got to get into it a little bit more. I only put like a couple hours into it, but I like it so far.
So I beat Immortals yesterday.
Me too.
I think. Oh, you beat it yesterday too, or you just beat it?
No, I beat it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So look, I feel bad, right? Because this is kind of one of those games where it's not a bad game. It just came out at a really bad time. And it has very, it's like all this magic and, they throwing up gang signs with the magic stuff and and it's cool. When you understand the blue, the green, the red, what they're used for, and then you start to really get into the gear and your build and everything, like it's really cool. And the story is, it was kind of cringe in the beginning, but then once I started to understand what like the lore of the world and the different factions and who people were, I was like, okay, like it's actually pretty good, but it's just. Why did you have to go all in on Unreal Engine 5 and every single feature that Unreal Engine 5 has, although like can't no hardware really play it? Why'd you do that? Why did you have to make your game so like difficult to run on literally everything? And why did you here's EA again releasing games at like I don't know if it needed more time or I don't know, but it's just like it's unfortunate because we know the majority of Ascendant Studios that made the game got laid off. Yep. And the game did not sell very well at all. Like it never charted on anything. It went as we used to say back in the day about like a album that drops that flops. It went double wood. Like this game went double wood. And so it's just I don't know. Like I feel like it's one of those games that you can see the potential of it, but because of its financial failures, we're never getting a sequel out of this. Nah. So. Baron, what were your thoughts on it?
Dude, what's so wild is it not in a negative way, it was a perfect Xbox 360 game. No, like it seriously reminded me of a fun, solid story. Kinda, if you've read any adventure book, you knew what was about to happen.
Right.
But I had fun. Like it was legit fun. And that's a huge factor for me. But then again, I wouldn't tell anybody to go pay full price.
No.
No, like definitely catch it on sale.
This is a Black Friday
And-
game.
Yeah, and its biggest sin was coming out this year.
Yeah.
Like Remnant 2, an amazing game. Its biggest sin was coming out this year.
Although Remnant sold though, like its first month.
Oh yeah.
Its first
Remnant
month,
2,
Remnant
that game.
was everybody was on that. I think it actually hit like top 10 of the year, like top 10 games sold of the year's first month. Now I'm pretty sure it completely fell off the map after that. But
yeah,
I think kind of to go back to what I was saying before about sequels. Remnant 2 is a sequel. Remnant 1 was that game that nobody paid attention to.
Facts.
And then when it came out, it was like people was like, yo, this game's really good. But it was like, it was so kind of like, if you know, you know kind of thing, word of mouth kind of thing. Nobody was really checking for it or talking about it. But then the sequel comes out and people are like, oh yeah, that first game was pretty good, right? Now people are checking for it. And then people buy it. It was fortunate for it to come out when it did. Yeah.
Well, remember, Remnant 1 had that Game Pass stimulus package. Like that's how
it was on Game Pass?
If I'm not mistaken, it was on Game Pass. I don't remember paying for that game. I
Which
remember
game?
buying the DLC.
Remnant 1.
Yeah, it was on Game Pass.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Really?
It was
got
on
the
there.
stimulus package. Yeah.
I didn't pay for Remnant because it was free through the Epic Game Store.
Yeah, that's how I got it through the Epic Game Store.
That's how I got it. Yeah, so I guess at some point they was just like, hey, look, man, we already took the L on finances. Let's just go ahead and just farm this thing out to every sub-service that I take it. And it's a quality game. But I think that really in the long run really helped them, because if you think about it, like it didn't sell well. Remnant 1, that is, didn't sell well initially. It goes on Game Pass. Epic Game Store is giving it out to everybody. People try it and like, oh man, yo, this game is actually legit. So then the sequel comes out and people are like, yeah, I'm gonna buy that. And so, you know, that I guess that really works, but it's just, I don't know who marketed that or published Remnant 1, but like, do they need to work for EA or something? Because EA is always doing this. When it comes to single player games, EA is always doing this, where they just don't know what to do with the game, how to market it. They did zero marketing. I really kind of felt like they gave up on this. They kind of felt like it wasn't going to sell, and they didn't even try. Like, why waste the marketing money on what we think is going to be a loser? But I don't know. Like it just seemed very, very unfortunate. I did enjoy playing the game though. But what was your kind of like final thoughts on Remnant? I guess this is like an impromptu topic. We can move on.
Yeah. With Remnant 2, I thought it was I was hooked. I was excited. I was looking forward to it. So as a fan of Remnant 1, I felt like I kind of gave it a unfair, like, hey, I know I'm gonna enjoy this if it's just more. But my biggest issue was that they had they made a critical moment a puzzle, and a puzzle boss. I don't know if you remember the cube boss.
Yeah.
I had a problem with that. I even in my review,
Forte remembers it too.
and Remnant 2. Yeah.
Oh man, that cube boss was pissing us the heck off.
No, I put it in my review that was a moment that I felt filtered out their fan base. Like that, I almost put the game down and was gonna write my review from that point. Because I was just like, no, this is ridiculous. Like, this is a core boss. Like, I have to do this. That felt like such an optional boss.
It wasn't as hard as once you figured out the patterns of everything.
Yeah, once you figure out the patterns, you could get it. But it's like, the one thing I always kind of felt was I always liked about Gunfire Games and the way they did Remnant is that their bosses are so unique.
Yes.
And so different. And a lot of times you'll play, and I'll say this about, because I kind of felt like the bosses in Immortals was very ho hum. Like it's the same strategy I use for every single boss. And even the final boss, it was just like the same strategy over and over again. Except every now and then I got ducked behind a shield, big whoop.
Yeah.
But in Remnant, it's like you really gotta sit there and like figure out the strategy. Like you really gotta download the boss, almost like a Souls game, because if not, you just will get clapped over and over again.
Remember when we was fighting the Matrix boss and we didn't know you could run around the top part,
yeah.
and we kept falling. It's like there's no way this is cheating,
bro. What about the Wraith lady? The ghost, like, did you fight the ghost witch lady?
Yes.
And here's the wild. There's another thing I like about it, right? So it's RNG in the bosses. So
I still haven't got a lot of them.
Right. So like when the way we were playing it, me, Luca, and Forte, we were playing and we wanted to make sure that on our own campaign that we beat it, so we would help each other through everyone else's. So we're three teaming through all three campaigns. Forte is the only one that had that Wraith lady at the Ghost Mansion, right? Yeah,
Luca never saw that lady because me and you the only one that did it.
Yeah, Luca had like checked out early, and me and Forte had fought her. But like on our playthroughs, we never had, that wasn't our boss for that region. So it's just so cool how like you almost have to really, if you want to fight every boss, you gotta play through it multiple times. And technically, the three of us beat the game 3 times this year because we were playing, through full, all 3 of our games. But yeah, man, like some of the different bosses, some of the differences in like just completing objectives. Because me and Luca was just going back and forth. I was like, yeah. I remember doing a certain thing in a region, and I was like, yeah, you gotta go find this place and then do this thing. And she's like, yeah, I don't even see that on my map. And I'm like,
yep.
so we had to figure it out a different way. Yeah.
And then the final boss gave me epilepsy, literally looking at all the flashing colors.
Ooh.
That final boss, man, I was like, this is rough.
Yeah.
Who designed that fight? Because I want to have a word with them private.
Bro, his tracking was ridiculous, man, for no reason.
How about I'm a teleport you to a different dimension. I'm a start an attack. Right. I'm gonna start an attack, then teleport you back, and then complete like the swing of my attack as I'm teleporting you back. But it's a different attack as I go through the different dimensions. I'm just like, bro, seriously.
Like, this is cheating. Like I was like, this is cheating. Like I don't usually say that, but I was like, no, this.
And I recommend everybody do this. When you fight that final boss in Remnant 2, turn the music off. Turn the music off.
Yeah, we literally had to turn the music off so we could hear the sound cues.
Yeah, because it's just like
I didn't even think of that. And that makes
the second
perfect
dimension. Sense. Like he makes a sound right before he does the whole little sideways swing thing, and it's Lord. Like, it was like, oh yeah, like I could hear it a little bit, but it's just like the choir is going.
The choir.
I'm just like, yo, can you shut up?
I ain't gonna lie. The music, I was like, that music was fire. That music was fire, but it was getting us killed.
It's like, 'cause I can't. So we just turned it off, and then next thing you know, it's just like you hear the sound, and then a millisecond later he swings. It's like, okay.
Yeah, this was the next day because we literally went at it for like a good 30-40 minutes on Luca's game because we beat it on hers first, and then Luca was like, okay, yeah, we'll come back to this later, I'm tired. And then we came back to play the next day, and then that's when everybody was looking up stuff, and SloMo was like, yeah, everybody on Reddit is basically say turn the sound off.
See that? Oh my god! And okay, so when you're when you're reviewing it, there's nobody else to talk to.
Right. Oh man, that's
oh my
rough.
God! And so you just kind of struggling and hoping. Like I would legit hop on,
struggling in silence,
and be praying somebody would be online. I'm like, please let somebody else be in the world. Please let somebody else be in the world. And then this is a behind the scenes note. They didn't put out any notice, like a public alert or an email, like, oh hey, the real game server is up now, so switch your game version on Steam. So I'm running around with like 5 people thinking nobody else is playing the game during the like slight review period when everybody had just switched over to the full game. Bro.
That's wild.
Oh my God. There were so many little frustrating moments, but it didn't overshadow how much fun I had playing Remnant. Like it was ridiculous.
I think Remnant 2 is probably the most underrated game to come out this year. It may win 100%. Some awards. In my eyes, I believe it should be a Game of the Year contender, but I know it won't be.
100%.
This year is absolutely stacked. You know, like there's going to be a lot of games that just aren't going to get it, and rightfully feel snubbed that they didn't even get nominated. But it is what it is. It's just too many bangers this year. But we have had a nice little conversation about some of these cool games, but let's get into the topics. If we are ready to do so, let me shout out a couple of people that are here. Shout out the Rail Zer 00 Capono, already out here once again telling people to build a PC, as he should. Arch War Angel, Stardust Acero, Spider 13. We got Trevor Birdsong in the house. Baron, do you know who Trevor Birdsong is?
No. Is that his real last name? Like, or does he?
It is now.
Well, no. I only asked because my people bird sing. Like, so that's like a real thing. Yeah, yeah.
This is Ramon Terrell, who's an actor, and he's and we say he is Hallmark Channel's actor of the year. He's been on Hallmark Channel about 3 or 4 times. You know what I'm saying? Like he and so we you know how like Hallmark Channel got those movies where it's always like the divorced 34-year-old white woman who goes back to her hometown and then she meets her old flame,
the old bartender.
He's still in town, still looking good. It's the same movie with a different title and different actors every time, except for Ramon, because Ramon's in every movie. But no, like, so we just call him Trevor Birdsong because it sounds like a name of like the male love interest. It just makes sense.
That does sound like that. Does y'all hit him with the jaw record?
But no, we got Trevor Birdsong in the house. Truth Serum, Arodimus, Neil S, Franco Tech, and many more coming through as usual, but we will get into these topics real quick, so I don't want to keep bearing too late. Bioware is in the news, and it's not good, and it never seems to be good.
It's never about games.
It's never about games. When we hear about Bioware recently, and frankly, stuff like this got me really wondering. So BioWare has laid off a number of employees recently, and they're also being sued by 7 of those employees who, by the way, were all unionized. And these employees are suing because BioWare did not do the bare minimum of what they should be doing when it comes to severance in Canada. And so they didn't give them their full salary for 1 month, which is I think a part of how that's supposed to work. But
for that country,
for Canada, they wouldn't even give them that. And now I know some stuff about BioWare. I'm not going to say who told me this, but there's someone I know that was offered a position to work on the Dragon Age Dreadwolf team, and this person was completely lowballed on the salary offer, and they would not pay for relocation. And so when you're backed by EA, which is, if I recall, like EA is still in the top 10 of revenue earners annually every year in the video game industry. What is going on where you're not paying for top talent, you're laying off people who have worked for you for 15 years, veteran developers, you're laying them off, and then not even paying them the lawful amount of severance you're supposed to pay them. What's happening at BioWare? Do they not have a budget for these things? And if that is the case, and we see how EA treated Immortals out here, I'm gonna throw this question to Baron. Baron, is BioWare like are they on that paycheck to paycheck kind of life right now? Like what is happening? And
I'm gonna tell you, I'm tinfoil hat time. I personally think we're looking at a situation where we're getting to the end of a bubble. Like this bubble's about to burst, and these companies, because think about it, it's the bigger companies that are doing a lot of this. All these random layoffs, all the random, and it makes no sense. Like you have a big game that's expected to do well just on namesake alone. Why are you letting go of veteran talent in a shady way? Are you trying to make yourself look bad so you can sell pieces of it on the quick? Like, or like that's how I see it. I think they're personally everybody's shooting themselves in the foot on purpose just so they can liquidate and melt down. Because it makes no sense. Do that
before before
let me
Mass Effect out.
Well, let me tell you why. Because look at the way with unionization is going. Look at the way all these people, you got employees on the lower end and in the middle tier fighting for their rights as employees and wanting better pay, better this. Look, they getting sued over this stuff.
Yeah.
What if that's what it is? It's like, hey, we're about to be in a situation where we can't make super profits anymore to make these games like we used to, hand over fist without question. We can't slave out our employees no more. So let's kind of slow down on what we're doing.
Yeah, and they made sure to lay off every single employee that was unionized.
See? So let's take the hit on
yeah. Go ahead.
Let's take the hit on the lawsuit. Let's take that L. We got the money. We're owned by EA. Or worst come to worst, we'll drop off like Toys R Us and come back with BioWare Inc. And like this is tinfoil hat, of course, but it just makes no sense because BioWare owned by EA, these are both big iconic names that it doesn't add up.
Right.
And that's why I think it's a tinfoil hat situation, because you had to know you were breaking some laws. Maybe they were hoping nobody would fight back or read the union handbook.
Yeah. Just go ahead and just accept what it is and just move on, try to find a job somewhere else. Forte, what are your thoughts on this, man?
Oh man, BioWare. First of all, I don't even know how you can get away in the country not giving people the fair severance they're supposed to get. If the guidelines say they're supposed to get, a month of severance, and the average of all the people that left, the average years worked with the company were 14 years. So on average, that means they owe 14 months of severance to people. And that wasn't something that they got. So that's what they're suing for. I agree with Baron. I do think that there is a bubble that's coming that is going to pop, and a lot of this stuff is going to kind of reset. I do think most of it due to the fact that a lot of companies hired on a lot more talent over the course of the last couple of years because gaming was at an all-time high. A lot of people were playing more games, and it hired more of the workforce to come in and actually, contribute to getting games out in a timely manner, on top of all the extra stuff like work from home and stuff like that. So now you're starting to see that all crashing down, people being laid off at pretty much every company at this point. And companies are trying to get back to a semblance of what 2019's revenue stream looked like before all the stuff happened. So there's going to be a lot of omelets and a lot of eggs broke to make some omelets over the course of the next couple of years. And but it's just very unfortunate with BioWare because it's a studio that literally made my favorite franchise of all time in Mass Effect, and it's just doesn't seem like anything is going right when it comes to that company. I mean, it took us it seems like 4 or 5 years just to get a title reveal for Dreadwolf, and they're still talking about that game is nowhere near complete and ready to go.
They haven't, behind the scenes, they feel like Dreadwolf might come out in 2024, like late 2024 or early 2025. But they've done. I've always been very much on the side of don't do more than one teaser trailer.
Right.
You should do one teaser trailer, if that. The next time you show that game, you better be showing actual like in-game footage, gameplay, what the game actually looks like. With Dreadwolf, they have done 2 teaser trailers. And so I'm like I think they already know ain't nobody really trying to see another teaser trailer. You better show what this game actually looks like. And I mean, we saw the leak where it looked like a Templar or whatever, Dragon Age God of War, and it's just like this ain't no freaking Dragon. And now let me just get in my bag a little bit. As someone who has played the entire Dragon Age series multiple times, the entire Mass Effect series multiple times, Knights of the Old Republic multiple times, Jade Empire. Like my favorite developer for a good long time was Bioware. And to see how low they have gone to the point where they used to be a point where they treated their employees like they were like everybody was a king and a queen, and now they treat them like disposable garbage. Like as soon as they could get rid of someone, oh hey, look, these guys unionized. Hey, look, if we gotta lay anybody off, wink wink, we know who they're gonna be, kind of deal. And it's that combined with the way EA seems to be treating the studio, which I mean, in some ways I get it on a business standpoint. Their last 2 games have been disappointments. The studio can no longer ride on its reputation. Like people aren't buying the next Bioware game because it's a Bioware game. Like Naughty Dog gets that kind of reputation, that kind of reverence. Rockstar does. Bioware ain't getting nothing because for a significant number of gamers now who they were too young to play the game at launch that I'm showing on the screen right now, and their image of Bioware is a dead looter shooter and an RPG with really bad facial animations. So yeah, like I feel like EA is barely supporting them, barely giving them the kind of, but this is my theory. I don't know for a fact, but I just feel like the budget isn't where it needs to be for them for this game, and they're not going to get any more than what they're getting. And for them to be trying to hire people with lowballing them while at the same time laying off 14-year veterans, it seems like they want to fill the same talent roles but for cheaper. Like hey, let's bring in people who could do what the people we lost can do, but let's bring them in at a much lower salary and a little bit less experience. And it's just, if you got a penny pinch like this, if Dreadwolf doesn't hit, I just don't think we're going to see this Mass Effect game they're working on, Mass Effect 4 or 5 or whatever the heck they want to call it. I just don't think it's going to be there. I just don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. So that's my thoughts on it. I mean, I would love to be wrong. I would love for Dreadwolf to be amazing, and we get that Mass Effect game, and BioWare has a return to form, but I just don't see it. I just don't. Any thoughts on this before we move on?
Rest in peace, BioWare.
Oh, wait, I couldn't hear somebody say. Someone.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, BioWare.
Oh man. Moving on. Here is a studio that's actually on the way up instead of on the way down, and that is Housemarque. And Housemarque is out here doing big things. Apparently, they've got a new studio that they're opening, and it looks like Sony, after acquiring Housemarque, is definitely investing in the studio. So it says, like, I'm looking at their blog, it says Housemarque, a member of the PlayStation Studios family, and Finland's long-standing gaming firm is gearing up to launch one of Nordic's most advanced gaming headquarters by the end of 2024. This facility will not only be a testament to our rich gaming legacy, but will also be a beacon of innovation and creativity in the northernmost capital. So, this is good to see about Housemarque. I mean, Returnal is, a game that definitely did pretty good for the kind of game that it was. It definitely wasn't like the most expensive game out there. But Forte, what are your thoughts on Housemarque opening new studios and expanding, and also what are your thoughts on the fact that I have got Returnal gameplay on PC, because we were supposed to do this co-op together and you seem to have flaked out on me?
I didn't flake out on you. You just didn't tell me that you was ready to play it.
I've been told you I was ready to play it.
When you want to play it, then?
I'm more. What? Really? Because I know where this is going. I'm gonna come up with a time, or a day, and then you gonna say, all right, and then when it's gonna be time to play, you ain't gonna be nowhere to be found.
That's not true. You just want that to be true. I understand, though.
We've done this.
Okay, that's fine. We'll talk about it later. All right. I'm super happy for them because it shows that starting with games like Stardust and moving on up to games like Returnal, which is a bigger endeavor for them, has definitely paid off. They're one of those studios that was homegrown by Sony. They pretty much only really worked with them, and just to see the development, the maturation of the company over the course of the last decade has been pretty cool. I remember playing, like I said, Stardust on my Vita, and it was one of the best games on the Vita when it came out, and seeing them be able to make a game like Returnal, minus the bugs that were day one on the game that kind of pissed a lot of people off because of just the stance that was going on, was kind of unfortunate. But seeing where it is now, seeing them be able to build their studio and basically turn into one of the bigger one of the bigger developers that's going to be in that area is really, really cool. And it basically shows confidence that they believe in the visions that they have for the games that they're making, and they're going to be able to make bigger games now, not probably just one game, but maybe in the compass of 2 different games, because they're expanding like that. So I'm really looking forward to what they can actually come up with. And I'm super happy for them because, a lot of studios don't have that type of backing, especially with working with a long-term partner that they had in Sony. And it's good to see this, even with all this other stuff with the layoffs and stuff's going on, it's good to see that some companies or some studios are actually getting, funding to, not only better their sales, but better, the environment in the studios they have. So definitely happy that that's what's going on with them.
Also, real quick, this is my first time really playing Returnal in the gameplay here. I did play it on PlayStation, but remember the issues they were having where you'd be in the middle of a run and the game would crash all the time, and it's this is a roguelite, so it's you can't be doing that when I don't get to keep my progress, and there isn't really a way, there's no checkpoints kind of stuff. So I kind of just put the game on pause and intended to come back to it when they fixed it. But then, other games come out, games I'm really more interested in, that kind of deal. Next thing I just never did. This game runs great on PC. I'm talking about I stayed over 100 frames per second my entire time playing. I only really played an hour. I did beat the first biome in that hour. Not bragging or anything.
Nah, you that guy. No, it's all right.
No, I'm just saying. That's why I'm showing the boss fight with the freak, because it is what it is. Anyway, but I was trying to be conservative initially because the game's got ray tracing, and the port studio, I forgot the name of the port studio, but PlayStation needs to keep working with them. We last week we were talking about how what's the name of it? that has worked with Insomniac, the port studio they bought, Nixus is great, and Jetpack Interactive that did the God of War port is also really good too. But they should keep working with these guys because this port is pretty excellent. And I was being conservative initially by not actually having like ray tracing on, but then when I saw my frames, I was like, nah, let's turn it up, man. So I turned on ray tracing. I'm still over 100 frames per second. I'm just like, okay, great. Like this game looks and plays great. So yeah. I'm enjoying myself. Anyway, Baron, what are your thoughts on Housemarque kind of leveling up here, getting a bigger studio, definitely getting more resources? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, you know what? I absolutely love the idea. It's during a scary time. Like knowing that even though they're spending money, as somebody said in an interview, this facility, it's a testament. But no, I just read something. Yeah, to attract more talent. And that's dope, but literally everybody else around you, even within the PlayStation space, with bigger companies being let go. So it's kind of weird to see it happen, but it's dope. Good for them. Like if they win in and they're in a confident space enough to find bigger space to want to bring on more people, hopefully that means there's more games coming out, like, or more games in the pipeline. I think it's amazing, but it's just hard not to see it through a kind of scary negative lens in what's going on within the space very near them.
He keeps slapping you in the face.
Yeah, that happened. Don't worry about that. Anyway, could you? And this is either one of you could answer this. Could you see them kind of expanding out of, because even with Returnal, it still has kind of like that twin stick feel to the gameplay. Could you see them expanding out of like their comfort zone? Maybe they do something a little different, maybe a completely different genre, but like maybe just do like multiple games. So not, instead of just doing like what everyone kind of like knows them for, which is what a lot of people will still expect them to make, but also kind of do something a little bit out of their wheelhouse as well. Could you see them doing that?
I would hope so if they're going through with this expansion, like because I'm not against twin stick shooters. I'm not against roguelites. They're not my number one thing, but I don't know, if you're making this big of a jump, why not? You're already risking it.
Yeah. And a lot of times with these studios, my bad, Forte.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
A lot of times with these smaller studios, they make what they have to make to keep the lights on, but they don't really get to flex their creativity the way they want to, because they may get a publisher that's just like, yeah, that's not going to sell, bro. So like, don't do that, and just do what they're doing, kind of deal. Now that they're under Sony, we know Sony isn't a charity, so they're gonna definitely want something that's gonna sell. Yet at the same time, if they provide something or they show something in a prototype that looks great, Sony's definitely that kind of publisher that'd be like, nah, do that. That's gonna work for us, especially if it's a single player game. If it's live service, we know what Bungie's gonna say. So, which is we can get to that later. We will get to that later. No, Forte, what were your thoughts, real quick?
No, I would think they would do something like that, especially with the extra studio. I don't think they'll ever completely get away from what like that origin is, because I thought it was really, really well done what they did with Returnal, and it kind of still sticks into something that they know. So I think with just the expansion that you'll just get a little bit of both, and I do think you'll get some type of games out of them that's nothing like what they made before, and then I think they're also going to have their traditional things too, so because people, that's why they like them for that type of traditional twin stick, because you don't really get anything like that anymore. And Returnal was something that was very surprisingly how good it played. And I was like looking at your gameplay. I was like, man, this looks really good for PS5. And I saw the things at the top, and I was like, oh, that's because it's PC. But the fact that I was like, that's because it's PC. It's like, this God. I was like, this looks real good. I was like, the PS5 version looks good, but it don't look this clear.
No way that's a console. Oh,
that's no way this is on console. Oh, no, then I look at the top corner. I was like, no, serious. I was looking at our suit, and I was like, that suit looked way too detailed for PS5.
Yeah, the ray trace reflections is on point.
Yeah, the game looks PS5 too. Let's be for real, but
it does
a whole other thing
as well. Yeah, it just don't look as good.
Yeah, but it's this. Yeah, look, that's why someone looking at the water, like look at my ray trace shadows.
Yeah, that was definitely it's definitely a little bit of a flex.
Look at my reflections in the water with my 3080 Ti. No, but I think it's my 3080 Ti that I want to get a 4080. You got to talk me off the ledge.
Oh man, you ain't gotta bring that up, man. Why you gotta bring that? Look, so Baron, I had a moment of weakness yesterday. Just a moment.
These got weak.
No, I didn't buy anything. I almost did. I had it in the cart. I had a 4080 in the car. I was about to just and I refuse to spend over $1,000 on a GPU. I feel like it's just, I don't feel like, I understand how I understand why like a 4090 is $1,600 minimum. Like I get it. And when you look at the performance of it compared to other GPUs, it's far and away the best, right? But I personally just can't spend that much money. When I mean like the price of a GPU alone, I could go build like the whole other aspect of a PC. Like I could get a CPU, a case, a motherboard, a great motherboard, great CPU, like the best storage in the world. Fast RAM. I could literally build all the other aspects of the PC with the price of that 4090, and to see the 4080, which in straight pure just rasterization, just pure rendering with no upscalers, no ratio, all that other stuff, loses to a GPU that's $200 to $300 cheaper. I just can't do it. I can't do it. But I want a 4080 so bad. I want it so bad, man. I still have GeForce Now, and GeForce Now Ultimate, the Ultimate tier, I get access to a 4080. And sometimes I just be playing stuff I just play. Man, I could be playing this native. I could be playing this on my PC. Like I was playing Cyberpunk through GeForce Now, and I just path tracing, turn it all up, and I'm just like, man, if I try path tracing on my 3080 Ti, this thing will freaking blow up in my case or something. It's just, so I had a moment of weakness, and Forte was like, don't do it, man. Don't do it. I talked to Luca. Luca was like, you don't need that. Look at all the other things you could get with that. And I'm just like, that's true. That's true. So I ended up not doing it.
Save yourself
this time.
And then and then it's gonna break your heart when not even 3 months later it's down who knows how much because they announced the 5 series. Whatever. Like it don't they upgrade like every other year, it seemed like?
They apparently they're kind of taking a little bit of a break. So we're not anticipating getting the 5000 series GPUs until like early 2025. Next year would definitely be like Intel is up with their actual, they're going to actually try to do a high-end GPU next year.
Oh, Jesus.
Their current ones are like low to mid tier, but like they're appropriately priced, which is why Intel took like half of AMD's market share immediately when they came into the market. So I'm not seriously giving Intel any real consideration just because they're still too new getting back into GPUs, but I might pick one up just to have as a backup. Because the appropriately priced high-end GPU might be something I might want to, just play around with. Throw in the PC every now and then and just see what it does. Maybe do some content off of it, that kind of deal. But
he said, I'm trying to see the moon from in game.
But let's get back on topic. We're gonna be talking about PC parts for all night. Something that I thought was pretty cool that I saw recently, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think this came out at the Tokyo Game Show, but it apparently will take between 40 to 50 hours to complete the mainline story. Like, that's not, collecting chickens. That's not catching kittens. That's not whatever the other, kind of like really just fluff side quest stuff that we saw in Remake. That's just the main story, the main missions, the main, like story content. 40 to 50 hours to complete the game. If you want to do everything, you want to platinum that thing, it's going to be like 100 hours. What are our thoughts on this, Baron? What are your thoughts on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's length? Pause.
No.
How do you feel about the length
damn
there?
Sword. That sword.
Is it enough length for you? I'm sorry.
Hey, no. Honestly, we're looking at a proper RPG experience.
Yes.
I want if
you want that length. You want the length, yeah.
No, look, man, full steam ahead. No, hey, look. No, seriously though, like, think about. Okay, I'm gonna be negative Nancy again. This scares me because how long you gonna take to tell this story? Because what did they say? We're expecting like 4 games or something like that.
3. They're gonna do 3.
3. Oh, so we ain't getting the next one for at least like 10 years.
No, I don't think so. Well, okay, so this is what they said, right? They were saying, I forgot the way that they were explaining why it took so long with the first game, but then if it's like, so Remake came out in 2020, was it?
Okay.
I think, or 2019. I know it was nominated for Game of the Year, but I can't remember what won that year. That would let me know. I think it may have been 2019. I think when chat, help me out. I don't know. But what this is actually like, maybe this is like 3 years or less, I guess, for Rebirth. So I can imagine if they keep to just kind of like advancing game mechanics and adapting them, because if you play intermission, like some of the syncing between or synergy between characters to do combo attacks they introduced in intermission is now in Rebirth, but for like everybody. So if they continue to kind of like adding more there, I can see it. But it just like visually the game looks amazing. Like it looks like I'm playing Advent Children, but it looks better than Advent Children. If you go back to Advent Children, it looks better. And they don't really need to like do too much more with it. Just give us the content. And I think they could probably get the last one, whichever it will be called, out before this generation is over. But I don't know. Like I can't wait for this game.
No, hey, honestly though, I think this is dope. I love when an RPG, especially one as iconic as this one, is gonna give people plenty to do. And the fact that this is all gonna be story, it's gonna be filled with some crazy cinematics. Like you can already expect that from a Final Fantasy game. I wonder how much of it is going to be cinematics. They didn't say that, huh?
They did not. But I can imagine a significant portion of it.
Yeah. And I'm not mad at that. Like that's I feel like when you're playing a RPG like that, that's what you should expect. Like, come on. But yeah, I think it's dope. Now, if this was like just some atypical like beat 'em up or something, I'd think I'd be sick. Like, but this being a beat 'em up RPG. I think it's dope.
Did you play Remake?
No, because I just got my PS5.
Oh my! You should be playing Remake. I would be playing Remake right now. Like that's just me. Like
Look.
oh wait, hold on. No, wait. Times. You have a PC, right?
Yeah.
Just play on PC. I mean, even with though.
Oh no, man! My
the
2060
PC port
Super my 2060 Super gonna be wheezing. I don't know.
You could what 20? I played it on PC when it first came out on PC. Back then I had a 2070 Super. Once I figured out how to play it without the shader cast stutter issue that was going on because Square Enix don't know how to port nothing on PC. Once I figured around that part, I was locked 120 frames per second at 1440p the entire time.
Oh damn.
Max settings, everything. It's literally just the PS5 version of the game, and so I mean that's fairly easy to run. And yeah, so like I'm gonna replay it again, remake again before Rebirth comes out. So probably we jump it back in that in January. But yeah, with my current rig, it's gonna be like I wish I could play it at higher than 120, but they lock it at 120 because it's Square. But yeah, you should definitely play it, man. It's definitely a great game. Forte, weren't you playing through this on PC?
I am on PC. Where everybody should play it.
Where are you at?
I just got out of where am I? I'm in the. Oh, where am I in the second time? Like, just got into the section 7?
Okay.
What's the name? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so you're still fairly early in the game.
Yeah. I just started. Well, I'm further on PlayStation, but I basically started over on PC. So I'm only like probably 2-3 hours in on PC. But it's amazing. To answer your question, 50 hours, man, I remember when I beat this game back in 1997, and my save file, will never forget what my save file said when I beat Sephiroth at the very end. The save file said 68 hours and 37 minutes.
Let's go.
That's what my save file was for the whole game. 60. It says 68 hours and 37 minutes. Just long. It was like, I thought that was long. And you just said that this whole game, this one part of the game, 50 hours. Crazy. How long did it take you? How long did you for remake? How much for the first game, SloMo?
Epic Game Store kind of stinks with that kind of statistic stuff because I played on I'm sorry, on PlayStation. I played it first on PlayStation.
Yeah, you played it first on PlayStation.
I think when I beat it, it was 30 hours when I beat it, and I did a fair amount of side content, and didn't just mainline everything, and then I went back and played some more on hard mode where you can't use items. Played it over again, and then I think I finished it. Or at least made it to the end before I got distracted with something else. But this is a significantly longer game than Remake.
Remake.
Yeah, Remake was you could play it for longer if you wanted to, especially with intermission. But I don't think Remake, to platinum it, was 50 hours. I think it may have been a little bit less than that.
I also think that Midgard, getting basically out of Midgard, was not the longest part of the game. So I always thought the second one would be longer, just due to the fact that I think that's where the bulk of the game is. Mm-hmm. Midgard in the original game, you could get out of Midgard in
under 10 hours.
Yeah, 7-8 hours easily. Yeah. So they padded that by just having Midgard with all the extra expedition and stuff you had in the game. So I always thought the second one, when they said it was going to be a trilogy, was going to be by far the biggest. And I think it's kind of the same way if you look at Mass Effect. If you look at Mass Effect, The
Dude.
second one is the biggest. The second Mass Effect game is the biggest. The first one is kind of like a little bit like the second one, and the last one is definitely the shortest when it comes to Mass Effect 3. You can literally beat that thing in less than 20 hours.
There's a lot of wrapping up of storylines and story plots.
Exactly. And that's what I kind of feel like they're going to do.
Very simple, a great game, but terrible ending.
Yeah, but they
very simple
terrible
with the focus. Build an army to fight the Reapers,
to fight the Reapers. And I think that's what they're kind of doing with this game, or the thoughts I always had. It's like everybody know the climax of this game is the fight with Sephiroth at the end, and how do you get to that, and all of the different things you did and you do in order to build up to be ready for that fight. So I always thought that the third one is going to be kind of probably that 20 to 25 hour, maybe 30-hour game. And the bulk of the stuff that you're going to do, like the bulk of your adventure is going to take place in the second game. So I don't have a problem with that. It just really comes down to how they execute and how they keep you engaged. And just like we all talked about, like, what's the cutoff going to be for Rebirth? Because we all had, like, before the game even came out, everybody was like, yeah, this game's going to probably end somewhere at the Midgard. That's probably where, when you leave the city and you're off in the open world, that's where Remake is going to probably end, and it's going to pick up at whatever the next one's going to be. My question is, how far into 7 do we get before they break off and say, okay, yeah, that's enough of Rebirth, and whatever, we're going to pick off on the third one. So that's what I'm more interested in.
There's been talk that it is going to be right after where, I don't. Okay, so let me.
I mean, dude, the game's 20 years.
This might be minor spoiler. Yeah, I'm about to say, like, this game's over 20 years old.
The game's over 20 years old.
No more, right?
Go for it.
And plus, they did change the game a lot since then when it comes to like the story elements. It's a little different now.
And so also because Remake is about 3-4 years old now, I can say that, like, and it's not a spoiler, that it's not really a remake. It's more like a sequel to the original game. Yes, because Sephiroth is intervening in events that occurred in the original game when he shouldn't be, where he's at places, and Aerith also is aware of things that she should not be aware of. And then how, like, the final act of the entire game is essentially not what happened at all in the original game. It's not a remake. So this is it's very Back to the Future.
Yeah, definitely.
Where yes, I'm telling you, play it, because like a lot of people who were like the old school, I want my Final Fantasy turn-based purists were like, I refuse to play the game. I refuse to touch it because they changed the combat. They did all this stuff. They took 10 hours of content and they stretched it out to like 40, 50 hours. And it's like, play the game, bro. Because it's not, like, it's not even what you think it is. It's very, very different.
And for me, that doesn't even sound like a bad thing. Like,
it's not. It's awesome.
Yeah, that sounds pretty dope, especially because we know a lot of how much stuff was left on the cutting room floor when they were making the final decision back in the day. Like, there's no way they got to tell the full, complete story how they wanted to. There had to be some limitations. So for them to be in a situation where now, hey, we got the time, obviously the fan base and the money and the technology, let's tell it how we really want it to. It's not bad.
Yeah, I will also say, just if you may want to go watch Advent Children before playing Rebirth to kind of refresh your memory on some things. Just hint. But Rebirth is going to have so much going on that never happened in that portion of the actual Final Fantasy VII, that to what I was getting to the point to, when a certain character dies in the original game is where I heard the cutoff is supposed to be. But don't be surprised if, like, maybe that doesn't happen. Like that character doesn't die, or maybe someone else does die.
I will be happy if that happens.
But no, I'm hyped for it. And 50 hours, yeah, I'm good with that. Like, it's just as long as like not all of a game's runtime or time to completion is equal. Sometimes, like, I'll go back to like Tales of Arise. I beat Tales of Arise. I think I clocked in somewhere between 60-65 hours. Now, overall, I did enjoy Tales of Arise. I thought it's a really, really good RPG. I recommend anyone who likes RPGs to try it. That said, that last maybe 10 hours didn't need to exist. Ooh. Like, Tales of Arise has some cutscenes that are 45 minutes long. I'm not exaggerating. Literally 45. I'm counting. I'm like, bro, why are we still talking? Kojima wishes. Like this. I mean, like, and not just one. It'll be 45 minutes of a cutscene. Then like 30 minutes of me actually playing the game. Then another 45-minute cutscene. This is all happening like near the end, and I kind of feel like they tried to like exposition dump the story on you. The things that they didn't really find a way to explain in the middle,
right?
All at the end, and just like that's a way of like a game that's 65 hours long to complete, but it should have been 40. Like that's what I'm hoping doesn't happen with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like, it's a quality 40 to 50 hours to beat the game. And the whole, and when you finish beating, you're just like, man, I didn't realize I spent that many hours on it. You know?
See, I'm probably not even gonna beat it because I'm gonna be so caught up doing all the side stuff, like farming up, trying to get different colored chocobo. Like it. Oh yeah, that's the one thing I hate. I'm a loot goblin. And then I
must have really had some problems with Starfield, huh?
Oh, bro, I had to force myself to play the main storyline. Not because it was bad, but just because it's just too much stuff to do. And then you get a hold of a ship, and then you start just adventuring, and then a ship lands, and then another ship lands, and then somebody drops a shotgun, and then then you find out, oh, there's this whole activity you can do. Oh, you could raise chocobo. Oh, you can farm and create a special chocobo. Oh, you could. Do they got fishing in this game?
In Rebirth, I don't know, but if they, I will hope not. I hate fishing in any game. I literally hate it.
No,
you like fishing?
All the things, bro. Fishing, blacksmithing, things I would never do in real life. I love doing in video games. Like fishing, crafting. I don't like building anything, but in terms of like houses and stuff like that, but crafting, all day. So if it's gonna have any of them mechanics, just chalk it up to Baron's gonna take forever in 3 years to beat the game.
All right. Unless you guys have got anything more about Final Fantasy Rebirth, I'm gonna move on to our another game where the game time became a topic this week. I'm pretty sure this one might. Get some people. Yeah, I don't know how, but if y'all ready to get into it, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Good old Spider-Man 2 is coming out in a few weeks, and the runtime for platinum in the game apparently is 30 hours or 30-ish hours, somewhere in there to platinum the game, and some people are finding this to be a problem, shockingly. Forte, what are your thoughts on that?
They're nuts. Who cares how long it takes? Okay, well, this is the thing. I would kill for a game, most games, to be in that 20 to 30 hour window, because I told you, I experienced, the everlasting, lifelong draining and adventurings of Destiny, and I always Yeah, so it was like, yeah, I don't want another game that I don't even want to play a game that's going to take me in 100 hours. Now I will play it, but it's like a game that I only do in moderation, like when we do Starfield, and I won't go from Starfield and jump into something like, Baldur's Gate or anything like that, because I'm not ready to like put that much time in right away. It's the reason I didn't start a game like Hogwarts, because I knew Hogwarts was coming out during the time of a game like Callisto Protocol and Dead Space was around that same time too. So it was like I look at the times of these games and I'm like, I really don't have time to commit 40, 50 hours to a game. So the fact that I can hear that Spider-Man is 20 hours sounds good to me, because guess what? As long as the story is good, as long as everything flows good, as long as the combat's good, as long as the game is what it is perceived to be, I will enjoy that 20 hours and I will not have a problem in anything that game has to have. I just think a lot of people look at it as like, oh, well, it's 20 hours because they look at it as like, oh, it's DLC. I'm like, well, listen, man, first of all, this is the third game.
I hate calling this game DLC.
Yeah, I hate people
it hurts me so much.
Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, I was just say, look, it's the third game in the franchise. It's the third game that they made in the franchise in the last, 5 years. And I think the biggest thing that people are looking at is like, all they did was just refine everything. Yes, they're going to use a lot of the same things that they had there. They're just going to make them look a little bit better. They're adding more areas to the game, bigger maps and stuff like that, and give you the ability to be able to switch between your characters on a dime whenever you want to do it. Those are all massive changes that they are making to the game that's going to make it the replayability of it really, really good. And there's going to be something there for the people that want to put more than 20-30 hours into the game. If you want to chase after pigeons, go at it. Think about it, when I beat like God of War 2018 was my favorite game of last generation. I love that game, and I beat it at, I want to say, 38 hours. And guess what? I didn't go back and do all that extra stuff in the game because I got the God of War experience that I wanted. I know people that put over 70 hours in that game because they were chasing after birds and they wanted to fight every Valkyrie. And, I was like, yeah, these Valkyries are kind of crazy. I'll go do that at a later day. And guess what? I never did it. And guess what? It didn't take away from my experience. So I'm like, I'm good with this. And I'm good with Spider-Man only being 20 hours because I think for a person that wants to play a bunch of different games, there's no reason for a game to be longer than it needs to be. So as long as the game's good, that's all that really matters to me. And I think that they kind of, the more and more you do something, the better you get at it. And this is their third time being in this world. So they kind of know how to make a Spider-Man game, and they kind of know how to, streamline it to the point where something that probably would have took them 30 hours to do, like to get the story and stuff together, now they could do it in 25, 20 to 25, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Baron, what are your thoughts?
You know what? I feel like Spider-Man games, at least these last ones, it's always a moment. Like, it's not like, oh, you're just in the world of Spider-Man. No, something's going on that needs to be solved, or, timeline-wise, is solved within the course of a few days to a week. I think that's great if they keep this, the platinuming the game will only takes 30 hours or took somebody 30 hours.
Right. Because
now that means the story is flowing. There's not these weird breaks where you need to go and spend 5 hours doing random stuff to continue through the story.
Yeah, I hate that crap.
I hate that. Like, bro, don't leave me on this digital cliffhanger within the same game that I'm currently playing. But then I got to go and do all this other side stuff to get back to the story. You don't have to do that. And I think that, I guess, would you say continuity? I'm trying to think of the word. Within the flow of the game. The pacing of it. And I actually think that's dope.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I wish some games were shorter. I see so many times where people talk about a game, and I didn't really care for this game, but the game I'm about to mention, that is. But a lot of people who did like it, they all almost universally say it was too long. Days Gone. And people say that like it could have been shorter. There was like so much extra content that didn't really need to be there, and I wonder why that happens sometimes. Like I wonder why that's the case, where they just don't seem to know how to edit out some of the stuff to realize like this is like we need to put a cap here. We need to end this act here. We need to get the flow working a little bit better where people aren't doing things that aren't really important or like as kind of just get it focused. Like if you look at like a game like Anthem, I remember when Anthem first launched, there was this part in Anthem where you had, if I recall correctly, you had to go out into the open world and just do random missions. And then you had to go find like some like 4 different like temples or something, and it was just like all this basically busy work to continue the main story, and it was so much nonsense that a lot of people checked out like right at that mission because they were just like, wait a minute, I gotta do more of these, like just to continue the main quest. Like no, like it's especially with the way the game was performing at that time, that was just it was excruciating, and you really break up the flow of a game when you start adding in things that really don't work for what the game is doing. If you got a cadence where I go here, I get my mission, then I go leave that place, and then I go do the mission, then I win the missions, then I go back here, and then you change that to, I just want you to just hang out in this massive open world now and just do random stuff for the next 5 hours. Huh? Like that doesn't work, right? But I feel like a lot of developers end up doing that because they're trying to get the runtime longer. You know, almost kind of like I don't think Ubisoft does that, but they have that formula where that, you know, that Ubisoft open world formula where here are the towers and you activate the tower, you get all these side missions, rinse, repeat. And they just litter these humongous maps with all this extra nothing filler content that whenever I see it, I immediately get turned off. If you show me a map and it's like 100 stuff on that map to do, I don't want to play it. I'm turning it off. That's how like it's the Assassin's Creed games, Odyssey. I quit Odyssey as soon as I looked at the map and saw every icon that was on the outside. Yep, I'm out.
It's lit up.
I am not doing that. And like I know there's some people that I don't know what it is. They just feel like I gotta clear the map. That is not me. I'm like, yo, I can be playing something else. I literally sometimes when I look at the games I have to play, if I'm down to 2 games, I will literally go on Google and Google time to beat for each game. And then whichever one has the shorter time to beat is the game I'm playing that right then.
Well, yeah, so you got to think. Yeah. Well, if you think about things like even with the original Spider-Man, you know, on time to beat, it says it takes 17 and a half hours to beat the Marvel Spider-Man from 2018. And if you're a completionist, it takes up to 43. Now there was parts, 17. So 17 just to beat the story. That's great. And guess what? That's with some filler in it because who wanted to play as Mary Jane running around doing stealth stuff?
Oh man.
You know, those missions was like even if that's like 2 hours worth of missions right there that they added to the game.
Stink. Yo,
I was like, what is this?
They better not do another like Mary Jane. I better only see Mary Jane in cutscenes, and that's it. If I gotta control Mary Jane again, and I'm crawling around and with a taser in my hand, I'm gonna have some problems with inside. Man, like this game will definitely go down to a drop in points off of stuff like that. Like that's like universally like things that people hated about the first game. And for you to go back to that'd be very, very tone deaf. But,
yeah, I think that's the biggest thing because even like it, you know, for the most part, the games do stuff like that. Like that was the one thing that made me like kind of stepped back from Last of Us Part 2 for a while, like before I went back and did it, because they added a 10-hour section in the middle of the game that didn't need to be there. I was like, okay, I understand you want me to play as Abby. I understand that. I know you want me to be able to understand her side of the story, but I don't have to play a whole 10 hours that I just literally played with Ellie. I literally did all this. You want me to play 10 hours to get back to the city so I could go to the same place that Ellie's waiting for me at inside of the what's the name? I forget the name of it, the theater and stuff.
Yep.
And I had to pay 10 hours to get back there. Like it irritated me. The first time I saw it, I was like, are they really about to make me go back and play this? I didn't want to do it. And that added to the runtime. And I get it, but it's just a good way and a bad way of doing it. And I felt like they tried to use her story mechanic, which I think is fine, but I didn't think it had to be a whole 10 hours worth of extra gameplay to do that. You can kind of give me the abbreviated, fast version of it and say, okay, maybe I would put like 2 hours into it, but not a full 10. And I think that's where a lot of games kind of lose people at. So I'm perfectly fine with this game only being that long, because guess what? There's a whole bunch of other games that's coming out. We got Call of Duty that's coming out 2 weeks later. We got I got Mario Wonder that literally releases the same day as Spider-Man. So we got to kind of, make time for that. And then, it's just the simple fact that it's going to be games that's going to go on sale that people didn't play earlier in the year because they just didn't have time, or they just said, I'll wait till it goes on sale. There's a lot of stuff like Dead Space 2 is going to probably be on sale, or Dead Space 1, I should say. Stuff like that people that didn't play day one. Some people are finally going to probably get the Hogwarts and stuff. So I definitely understand people's flight of saying, I do not care if a game is only 20 hours. That is perfectly fine, because guess what? Miles Morales was only 7.5, and it was still great. And that's all that matters.
Main story, Miles
Morales' main story was only 7.5 hours. If you did completion, it was 18.
Well, I mean, I platinumed both games. I think I can't. I have to check my runtime on PC and PlayStation to see how long it took me to do that. But yeah, I mean, look, I mean, of course, definitely Miles is shorter than Spider-Man like 2018, but it felt good.
That's all that matters.
It felt fine. Like it I didn't feel like, oh, I wish there was more story here. No, it felt appropriately like paced, where it got to the point where I was like, this is it. It's over. All right, let's do it. Let's get to that final mission. Like I'm down with that. And I did everything. I cleared all the stuff. It's like one of the things to platinum the original, the first one Insomniac did, was you gotta go and do all the side missions and almost kind of like a Ubisoft game in every borough. But the difference is that they were very random and they made sense. Like, you're just in the area and some dudes try to rob a jewelry store, or they're in a car chase. It's just, you would do those little things, they would pop up and then you would knock them out, and they'd be very
you would clear
fast.
like the crime level or whatever, right? Like, is that what it was? In the 2018?
Yes. Yeah. And I think, and Miles had the app. He had the app thing, where it's like Genki created the app, and the people would like say, "Hey, I need help through the app." And I mean, look, it works. It is. With the level of detail and the cutscenes and I mean, they're excellent with their proprietary game engine when it comes to performance and including ray tracing and all that stuff. With all the work they put into the game, I don't understand why anyone would want more. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I think partially part of it is a little. We're comparing it to a completely different kind of game, like Starfield. It's just like, if Starfield took 30 hours to complete, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. But like, these are two different kind of games. So like, it shouldn't be an issue where it's where we're making these kind of comparisons. At least that doesn't seem that way to me.
Well, Starfield's story the story is only 20 and a half hours. Main plus extras, which is side quests, is 63. To get the full completion is 151.
Well, I definitely didn't get the full completion.
I
beat that was probably about 70 hours in when I beat the game.
Yeah, that's with doing a lot of the the Vanguard missions, some of the free
you can actually
stuff.
beat the game. No.
Yeah. Oh. Well, think about this, SloMo. When you think about game completions, like you were talking about it earlier with Remnant, we beat it 3 times, and the stats on it says it takes 20 hours to beat the campaign, by yourself, and makes sense. I think my playthrough on all 3 of us was close to 37 hours. But, I can see one playthrough playing it by yourself being 20 hours. And for us, we beat it 3 times. And of course, the more and more you play it, the more familiar you get with the stuff. And we didn't struggle with it in other worlds. So we beat it a lot faster than the time says we did, because we experienced it 3 times. But I think that game was expecting you to play it multiple times because of all the things you can get out of it. And when we were done playing that game, SloMo, I felt like I got my money's worth out of it. I felt like 36 to 38 hours, I got my money out of it. I played it with my friends, beat it 3 separate times. And it never got to the point where it got overbearing. All I said is, let's delete it. Like you said, and we'll come back when the DLC comes out.
Yeah.
And that was it.
No. Oh, y'all don't digital hoard? Y'all delete games?
Oh, that's why I don't have that hard drive yet. That's why I still don't got that Seagate hard drive.
I am team delete your game. Are you playing it? No. Delete it. You can delete it. Well, I mean, I got Verizon Fios, so I got high speed, and so it like reinstalling it when I need to is
yeah. If I need to reinstall, like I just reinstalled Call of Duty on my PlayStation. It was 180 gigs, and it literally took me 25 minutes to do. So I was like, I'm good.
Does the church know of this? No.
Man, everybody. We try to tell people. I do. Let me tell you something, Baron. I had a person that literally walked into the store the other day, and he bought another one of those Seagate drives.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
He bought another one, and I was like, I didn't know he had bought another one. I didn't know he had one already. And when I was selling it to him, I said, "Oh yeah, you got tired of deleting games." He said, "Yeah, well, this is my second one. My first one is full." And I'm like,
"What?"
In my mind, I said, "What do you mean your first one's full?" He was like, "Yeah, my first one is full. One of my internals full. The secondary's full. Now I need another one because I don't want to delete none of my games. I just want to be able to switch." Is he
using his phone as a hotspot? Like, what is that? Like,
I was like, in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take this man $180 because I'm not about to argue with him. This man is staunch on the fact that he said he can't delete his games, and I'm like. I'm thinking like, wait, you do realize that save data is a thing. You can delete a game and still keep the saves.
At how many people probably don't know that.
Man, they be thinking if you delete the game, you delete everything. I'm like, no, just delete the game and keep the save product. It literally asks you that when you delete games. It says, do you want to keep the save product? Yes, you do. And you keep it. But
oh Lord.
Man, there's people out here spending money on stuff that they don't need, man.
Oh, man.
Well, that's
we gotta do.
Well, that's everywhere though. That's not a gaming issue. That's a
humanity issue.
Yeah, basically. We all buying stuff we don't need.
Let's talk about a couple of games that came out recently and had reviews. But which one we want to tackle first? I'll leave it up to you. Assassin's Creed Mirage or Forza Motorsport? Which one you want to talk about?
Oh man, let's talk about Forza first, man. Because it's a Forza type of day. Early access, people out here loving the game and playing it, but it only got. I haven't looked at it today, but last time I looked at it, 85 Metacritic overall.
Ooh. 85. I thought it was lower than that. I thought it was like 80.
It was 80. It was 85 last time I looked at, but that was yesterday, so I don't know if it dropped some today because I didn't look at it today.
I will double check, but y'all know how I am when it comes to simulation racers. I ain't playing it.
Worse than Nightwheel.
I'm not even going to attempt to.
It is
at 85. You are correct to say 85 at the moment.
Okay.
and 84 on PC. But the Xbox has the bulk of the reviews, so we'll go with the one that has the most reviews, 85. Your thoughts on this, Forte? Because you play these kind of games. I know you haven't played it yet, right?
Yeah. I installed it earlier because I had to work today, but I do have it installed, so I will most likely jump in it tomorrow, or probably after the show. I don't know.
Have you watched any of the reviews, seen any of the things that are being said about it?
I watched some of them, and I mean, it seems like a lot of, like, with the missing features and stuff, that's some things that people are a little hung up on. The biggest thing for me is, it's like, man, everything is so compared to each other now. Like, between, I was looking at some stuff on Twitter, people comparing it to GT8, GT7, and all of the different things, like, you get rain in GT7 at night and everything like this. And I'm like, well, this doesn't have it. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, dude, it's a game. I seen people talk about the color palette looks flat. The game, like, the overall reflections don't look as good as the last ones did. There's just a lot of different things that's kind of holding it. When I saw the score of the game at being like an 85, most Forza score close to the 90s, if not in the 90s. So this is a little lower than normally they do hit at, but this is
why do you think that is? Like, what is the general consensus of why this one scored lower than the previous Forza Motorsports?
I didn't look enough into all the reviews to kind of see. The biggest thing for me, it just looks like it's not as feature rich as the initial ones, and then it also just looks like it's a lot of samey stuff, because a lot of, like, you think it's a race game, so a lot of the same tracks are there. It doesn't really differentiate itself that much from Forza 7 that a lot of people feels like, outside of having ray tracing on PC and stuff like that, and newer cars and everything like that. It kind of feels the same from what I hear a lot of people talking about, like in the reviews. It's not that it's bad, it's good. It just feels like Forza. And that's the kind of the thing when you think about Forza Horizon 5, it's been like that ever since 3. Like, 3 was like the big jump for Horizon, where people was like, yo, this is incredible. I love it. I can't believe that they pulled this off. And then you get the 4 when you go to Europe, and then it was like, oh, okay, it's cool. I like they added the changing of the weather and the seasons, and people was like, okay, that's a really cool gimmick. I really like that, but it still feels the same. And then you got Forza Horizon 5 in Mexico, and people was like, yeah, this is cool. I really like this. But guess what? It still feels the same. It's got ray tracing and stuff like that. The performance is a lot better, but it doesn't feel different. And so that's what
update.
And that's what people are kind of saying. So they're looking at it like, it's been 5 years. I think 5.
I was about to say that. It's been
they got
out 5 of their usual cadence. I mean, look, coming from a complete, like, know nothing about simulation racers, but if I was someone who played this game day one, every single time it came out, and I spent, hundreds of hours in it every single time, when you break that cadence, I'm expecting you to come with something
a lot stronger,
either like super innovative compared to what you had before, or a lot more content than what you would have before. And if you don't provide that, I can understand why some people will be like, yo, so why did it take this long?
Why did it take? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Baron, what are your thoughts on it, man?
I don't play racing sims because I just would wreck the cars all day. It wouldn't go well for me.
You know how to drive?
Yeah, but then I don't know. I'm not gonna drive fast.
No. Seriously, you think I'm BSing you? If you really want to try one of these, just get yourself. I mean, it's an investment. Just get yourself a cheap steering wheel, and you will play this game better.
Okay.
Way better. Like, if you have a wheel, you play in a cockpit view, you will drive like you're driving a car. And if you could turn your assist off, you could do all that stuff, because you're a little bit more precise with your driving when you're using a wheel and looking through the window versus using a joystick, because you can kind of gauge it more. But that's just a little tip for people that want to drive better in the game. You could do it with a controller. Yeah. It's just a lot easier if you do it with a Wii.
Yeah, see,
Forte, are you hitting a cable or something? Because
a cable?
You're for your mic, because it's every now and then you kind of like start to break up.
Oh, let me fix it. Hold on, it might be the fact that it broke.
But no, man. Yeah. But no, like I'm not big on racers like that. Like I used to be. I used to play a lot of them, but it was always arcade racers.
Yeah, I'm down with some Forza Horizon.
Yeah,
when the new one comes out, I will play it for like 2 days straight. And then not touch it again, but still, right?
but that feeling of sameness, it's sad because did they mess up and make the game too good, and they don't know how to progress it any further without making it full VR?
That could be it.
No, you know what I mean? Like just the sin of a perfect game, and. Maybe they should have came in with a cheaper price point, or I don't know. Maybe fused in all the old, like, are all the old tracks available?
I have no idea. Look, you're talking to the wrong one. Like now, next week. Next week we're gonna have a special guest on to discuss the.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Talk about like actual impressions with Forte and the special guest really digging in, and I'm gonna go get some popcorn and a Red Bull and just let them talk. But like as of now, I have like no, as far as maps and like tracks and stuff. I have no freaking like I don't know.
But that samey feel it obviously isn't a horrible thing because I mean we're back to OG Assassin's Creed. Like the idea of sameness is not a horrible thing, but that long hiatus and then to come out and feel that's the problem.
Now, real quick, the chat is saying that the reason why it took so long is that they rebuilt the engine and the game design of the game is centered around live service now compared to the previous game. So I take it that means that like. That's the reason why they just call it Forza Motorsport, because
and they don't have a number on it anymore because it's like the favorite Forza.
Yeah,
so they went Halo Infinite.
Yeah, it's gonna be like it's gonna be a 10-year simulation racer. Like we're gonna continue to keep giving it updates and that kind of deal, which is, I mean that's I guess that's okay.
Game.
I don't know anything about this game, honestly. I'm sorry. So I mean, Forte, what are your thoughts on it going more live service than the previous, case?
Man, okay, so
that side doesn't sound very
enthused.
I just everything doesn't have to be that. I understand why they got to make. Okay, it's in Game Pass. And this is the thing about having things in Game Pass. It feels like when you put it in Game Pass, it feels like you want to make it a live service. It feels like you're trying to extract more money out of people by it being in a service because you're not going to get as many sales as you normally get versus just putting a really good game in there and then making people want to either buy the game or put it in the Game Pass. The only problem I really have with Xbox is kind of the attitude that they rather you play it in Game Pass than buy the game. Yes. Like that's literally what the attitude of Xbox is. And I feel like you should want people to do both. You should want them to subscribe to Game Pass and you probably want to be like, hey, I really like this game. I'm just gonna, if you really like it, like they used to say, I'll buy it and get the 10% discount inside of Game Pass. Or if a person just doesn't want to, have another monthly subscription come out, you should really talk to the people that want to buy the game because, like I said, it's not that it's bad. I don't think it's a horrible thing that the game has games as a service mantras to it because most of the games that are played now have that. It's good ways of doing it and it's bad ways of doing it. And I haven't experienced this game yet to see exactly how it's implemented in that way. So I don't want to cast any aspersions without actually knowing. But it just overall feels like for the most part, people were just expecting more from this game because of the layoff. And that's what it is. It's like, you know, if like Slomo said, if they would have just kept up with like the rotation every other year, they was doing a Forza Motosport, then they were doing a Horizon, but they pretty much had a Forza every year. And if they would have kept that, then people would have been like, oh, I can see the little upgrades that they did over the course of the last couple of years. And normally what they do is you remember when NCAA football came out, Baron, and it was like NCAA football and Madden every year before NCAA football stopped coming out?
I remember.
Yeah. Remember when NCAA was the NCAA? People don't want to probably admit this. NCAA was the better game.
Yeah,
it was the better game.
Way better.
Absolutely.
You know why it was the better game? Because that was the game that they put all of the new features in. They did all the testing in that game. Anything that they wanted to add to Madden and the future Madden, they would test it in NCAA. So NCAA was the test bed for it, and you would get all the new fresh features in NCAA, and that's what made NCAA great. And then you would have the ability to port your characters over to Madden. So it was like kind of the test bed for Madden.
Through them graduating and then going into the draft.
Exactly.
I remember putting my draft class on the memory memory chip, and then putting that into the Madden and then being mad when my level 99 or level 90 college players showed up as like 70 or 60
something. Yeah, I was like, what happened?
I'm like, what?
Yeah,
like,
but that was the thing that made it great back then, because you saw the things that they had in that game and they go over to Madden, and it made you want to play Madden because it was an improvement year to year. That's what Forza used to do when they had the every other year cadence. They would add stuff into Motorsport. Some of that stuff would bleed over to Horizon, like the sounds of the cars, the way they look, the engines and everything. And then Forza would just be more, the Horizon would be the open world version of it with more of an arcade feel. And then they would do the same thing. They would take some of the stuff from Forza and they would put in the Horizon and put it in Motorsport. Now, there's been such a gap since the last time they had a Motorsport. People were expecting way more than they got. And like I said, I can't speak to it because I haven't played it yet. I haven't played it yet, so I can't say for myself.
Let me speak from the other side for a moment. What if, say, this game gets the kind of improvements that we saw from Halo Infinite? Where Halo Infinite definitely did not benefit from having a lack of features and content at launch.
It definitely didn't have that. You're right. It didn't have that. That was there.
But Halo Infinite is awesome now, right?
Oh, did you see my text message?
Did you see my response?
I did. I played like two after Brap yesterday. I played like 2 hours of it. I was like, this is actually really good.
See, that's dope.
This guy. And then he sends me at like 1 a.m. He sends me a text message at 1 in the freaking morning. Hey, Halo's actually pretty fun. My response was a roll eye emoji, and I went back to sleep because I'm just like,
told you. Look.
I've been telling this guy this for like a year now, and he's just been basically ignoring me. And I'm trying to get him to play Halo with me, and he just says this nonsense while I'm sleeping.
Well, listen, and I don't want to say this, and first of all, I do want to apologize because I know I pissed off a lot of Xbox people over the course of the last week because of something I said on Crossfire last week, where I said Xbox ain't got no games. A lot of people brought up 2021 to me, and they said 2021 was actually a really good year for Xbox. And I said, you know what? Forza did come out that year, Horizon 5, and then Halo did come out. But I'm gonna apologize because the reason I'm doing it, because I got to stand on my own word. They disappointed me so much with Halo because literally Halo is my second favorite franchise of all time next to Mass Effect. They disappointed me so bad with Halo. I literally forgot about everything they did that year. I didn't care what else Xbox did that year because and SloMo will know, he'll be the first one to tell you. I was so pissed that I kept telling people I felt like they basically brung Halo out to sell mugs that year. They wanted to put Halo out because it was the 20th anniversary. They didn't want to do this. I felt like they were sacrificing their game to sell mugs. And it pissed me off because Halo is better than that. And SloMo's been telling me, wait, hold on. And SloMo's been telling me for months. He said, yo, the game's good. The game's good. I was like, I don't care if the game's good. I'm not playing that game because they pissed me off. So I instantly, this is where I apologize, I'm not going to speak on it anymore. 2001 was a really good year for Xbox. They just let me down so bad with Halo that year that I literally disregarded that whole year. So anybody that wants to hold me accountable for saying that on 2021, I'm with you. But I'm giving you just my thought process of how important that game was to me and how much they pissed me off by messing it up. But yeah, the game is actually good now, SloMo. And go ahead and ask your question because I already know what you're going to ask. I already know what you're going to ask. You're going to say, oh, if having the Forza has the same genesis as Halo or Sea of Thieves, where the game is a way better a year and a half to 2 years from now. And you know what I'm going to tell you, SloMo? Why do we have to wait?
Delay.
Because they're doing live service.
I understand it, but listen, I feel like a game. This is how I feel about live services. I feel like there should never be less than what the game had before. If the previous game had certain things that were in it, I feel like those certain things should be in the game. Now, the live service part of it should be the additive stuff, the stuff that you're bringing to the game that probably never was in the game before. I just feel like there should never be anything missing from a game that literally had all this stuff before. Like I feel like co-op should be in Halo. I shouldn't have to wait for that to come later.
I agree.
Forte, how can I milk it? How can I make my money? How can I make my money, Forte? How can I sell my battle pass if you don't have to earn your multiplayer? No,
guess what? But whose job is that? It's not my job. It's my job to play the game. And it's my job to say I don't want to play your game if you don't give me the things that I should have in the game that were there when they were previously there. Should I give you an early advancement of my check to play a game that you said isn't ready to play yet?
If you want to get in this early access closed beta,
well, guess what? Call it early access, and then we might be able to jump in there. Because guess what? Games like Baldur's Gate, they did that. They called it early access, and people paid to get into the game because they knew what they were getting. You didn't say Halo's at early access. You basically just said, "Hey, here's Halo. Enjoy it. We're gonna give you stuff over the course of time." But oh, never mind. Guess what? Season 3 is actually going to be season 2 and 3 at the same time, and season 4 is going to come a whole year later. Okay, that's what they pretty much told people.
We're gonna draw it back. Because if
now you're about to give
Forte, because you could be complaining about what they did to Halo Infinite for the next. And then
I'm not gonna be playing it again. So definitely you want to move on from this.
So my question wasn't what you were saying anyway, but my question my question was is the Forza community different enough from the Halo community that 2 years from now, if Forza Motorsport has all this content, all these modes, they're just adding more and more content, and let's say hopefully Turn 10 is able to produce, they know their game engine better than anybody, and they ain't got no crap engine like Slipspace engine. They're able to add content in a cadence that they intended to add it, and it's awesome, say like in 2025.
They're in a niche that's going to benefit them.
What I'm saying is, will that kind of mode of delivering content work for a simulation racer like this game when it didn't really work for a first-person shooter like Halo?
Yes, I believe it will. It will work because, and I want you to speak on it too, Baron. I think it will work just for the fact that there's more shooters out there for people to be pulled to, where there's not as many games like Forza out there for people, unless you're on PC, where you have a set of Corsa and Formula One racing and stuff, where that's where a lot of those games are built and bred at. Outside of that, you got Gran Turismo on PS5, and then you got Forza Motosport on Xbox. So I think this game will benefit over the course of the next 2 years. And I think it will be like Sea of Thieves, because think about it. That's the reason Sea of Thieves is doing as good as it's doing now, is because there's nothing else like it anywhere else. It's like, if you want that type of an experience, where are you going to get it from? Mm-hmm. So that's what's going to happen with Forza. Where are you going to get that premium racing experience on Xbox or even on PlayStation?
Well, GT7, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like, me personally, I always felt like Forza was better than GT7. I felt like GT7 has its benefits, and I just think that Forza is just an overall better game. I do think, as of right now, for what I played of GT7 probably is a better game because it's a full package right now, where Forza over the course of the next couple of years will probably most likely surpass that, because they'll be iterating on it more and more and more. But like I said, I really can't speak on how good Forza really is until I play it. But just looking at the reception of the game, it looks like it has a lot of things it has to live up to and make up for. And I do agree. I think within 2 years, this will probably be the most premier racing game out there, because there's not a lot of them out there, and people will keep playing this game because this is the type of game they want to play.
Baron, I'll ask you the same question. Do you think that kind of release cadence and adding a ton of features within the next 24 months will benefit Forza Motorsport more than Halo Infinite?
Oh, 100%. For all the same reasons that Forte just said. But no, but it just really, it's such a niche community that it's gonna win. As long as they stay consistent, as long as nothing extremely outrageous happens to force everybody to push all these people over to Gran Turismo 7. Because I feel like with a community this niche, they are willing to drop the console to go pick up another one, right? Or they have both because they want to experience both of them. I see it. It's definitely going to benefit it way more than Halo.
We'll move on to our last topic. Before I do that, again, I want to reiterate, next week we'll have Forte and the special guest on. I don't want to say the special guest quite yet, but you guys will see. And Forte and the special guests are definitely big into Forza Motorsport, and they will have a week to play it and give their full-on impressions of the game. So, come check us out next week when we do that. I said the moving on to the last topic, I forgot the other game that got reviewed, Assassin's Creed Mirage. Which, I forgot it because I don't like these kind of games anyway. So I guess this is
almost like I don't care about no Assassin's Creed.
Nah, nope. Stealth. What is that? I want to shoot people in the face. Anyway, no. Assassin's Creed Mirage came out. I believe the reviews for Mirage are like in the 70s. I believe.
Yeah, I think it was like 77.
Right, on Metacritic. Yeah. I was shocked. I looked at a bunch of reviews, and I thought it would review better because there were so many people that have been begging for Ubisoft to go back to the old style of Assassin's Creed, where it's stealth and you got your target. It's more assassin-y than, say, whatever they've been doing. Action adventure kind of RPG that they've been doing with Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. And
I can tell you why too.
Right, but yeah, tell me why this one reviewed so poorly compared to,
because a lot of people, it is just an opinion, but just looking at the responses, it looks like a lot of people were probably expecting more everything from Assassin's Creed 4, which is Black Flag, Brotherhood, Revelations. Instead, they got Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3, Whereas they felt like the evolution of it. I do think Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and well, 1 could whatever. I hate 1 because of how it was. 2 and 3, just looking at them, I was like, okay, that's the pinnacle of what Assassin's Creed was. And I think that's what they ended up going back to. But a lot of people like the overall improvements they made once they got to, you know, Black Flag, Revelations, and the things that they did when they got to Brotherhood. Those are the ones that people was thinking like, okay, if we can get back to that type of Assassin's Creed, then we're good. But they went full-fledged all the way back to what Assassin's Creed used to be. And some people didn't, you know, let's be for real, some people didn't like what the original Assassin's Creed used to be. They kind of liked the newer style of it. They didn't really care for anything at the Origins because that's where they changed the settings, and it didn't have anything to do with Ezio anymore. And all that stuff kind of changed. So now people are looking at it like, okay, you're in the Ezio area where those type of games were, but you don't have it's like the improvements that they made on the game, like the way that it played and stuff. They didn't, you know, really add that stuff to the game when it comes to this one. It's more traditional Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3. And like I said, 2, I think, is the best one of all the Assassin's Creeds, but people weren't ready to go back to that type of an Assassin's Creed game. They thought they were going to get more of a melding of the two between what they did with the first 3 and the 3 after that. And they didn't do that.
That's a bit of a different take from what I actually saw. And like, I saw 2 reviews. Both of them echoed the same sentiments. Their biggest issues were, one, the story stinks. That was one. Just keep it a buck. The story sucks.
Skip all this. The story sucks, man.
Like, no, tomato.
And like there's parts where like you'll meet a character that's helping you, and within 15 minutes you never see it. You only meet that character for a short period of time. You kill your target, and then the other character, like you never see that person again. You get targets where like you don't know anything about them, but you know, you just go ahead and you just murder them. You know, like you say, hey, this person is awful, but it's like, I don't know, like you haven't shown me why this person is so bad, that kind of deal. And then the other thing was that it lacked features, lacked content that they wanted, people wanted in the game, like it wasn't feature complete. And so let me ask Barry, do you play Assassin's Creed?
Yes. Now ask me, what's the last one I played and did I beat it? No, but look, I'll say this. Seeing the price point, because I didn't review it, old man Logan actually reviewed it on our site, and it's funny because he said the cons were the main cast was lacking and the story was convoluted. So for you to say what you just said,
that was one of the reviews
I saw.
Got it. Yeah. I retweeted on my timeline earlier. It's like that was one of the reviews I saw where I was like, oh, okay, yeah, story stinks. Actually, it was 3. It was I can't remember what the third one was, but the first one was Skill Up. The Skill Up said the story was real bad too. So I think that, like, my opinion is, I think people got what they wanted in the style of play, but they just wished that there was a team that could actually deliver on a story.
I'm gonna tell you, I personally think this was like a tech test type thing, or a feeler, because they charge $49. One thing about Ubisoft is they're quick to they're quick to throw a game out for a cheaper price to kind of feel and see, like, can we keep going with this? This isn't the first time they've charged way less than what the normal full price is. They did it with that second part to with a few with a few of the Far Cries, right? It was like 2 of them. I think they came out the gate for $49.99. So I think with that price point and the fact that they haven't went to this style of Assassin's Creed in well over 10 years, or am I being dramatic?
You probably about right. Since Origins. When did Origins come out? I feel like
Origins. That
had been,
but
like,
Origins was the RPG one. Yeah. Okay. So I feel
like the last one like this was like Rogue, I think. I'm not into either. Like I'm so down to Assassin's Creed that I don't really know. But yeah.
No, but my whole get down is I think this was a way to test it for the cheap. Like they if it sells decent, which because a lot of people claim they really wanted to go back to this,
right?
I think they'll go deep. That's what she said. They'll go deeper on the next one. Do better next time, I swear. No.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be lukewarm with it. You can't half do it. You know, you can't just. If you're gonna go all in on this kind of game, then like, yeah, you're gonna get out of it what you put into it. So it seems as if people just felt like they wanted more from what it provided.
I think the lukewarm was on purpose, because think about what they did for the last Assassin's Creed. What was it, like a 4-hour live painting? Yeah, a 4-hour live painting reveal of the cover of the game. Like, they were all in. So to see this, to them to go back to the classic and not do anything close to that, was there even a dope cinematic trailer? We usually get some sick trailers with Assassin's Creed. I mean,
I thought they had a pretty cool trailer at the Ubisoft Forward they did last June. I thought it looked pretty cool. I mean,
okay,
but maybe that's just me on the outside looking in. Like I really don't. Let me get on my soapbox real quick. I don't like stealth games. So the Assassin's Creed, the original trilogy, I didn't even bother. Like I may have played the first one a little bit, and I was like, hey, for me. So when 2 came out, didn't care. 3 didn't care. Black Flag, don't care. Rogue, don't care. When Origins came out, and I heard that they had like completely changed the way like the game is, and it was a little bit, was it like you could kind of be more open to how you decide. Yeah, how you decide to go. So I tried Odyssey, and like I said earlier, I was kind of okay until I saw the map, and I was like, nope. But something that I felt, because I got Valhalla for free from Ubisoft for doing some play testing for them, and I tried Valhalla and I uninstalled it after like 30 minutes. Let me tell you my biggest issue with the newer Assassin's Creeds. It's not just that the map is too big. I think the combat is overrated, janky nonsense. Like, I can't stand the combat. I do not like it whatsoever. Like, it's not good combat to me. I think it sucks. And
train on a Game Pass on a plane. I don't want to play.
I just don't like it. I can't dig. Like, I was playing Valhalla and I was just like, no, man, this is not. Like, I felt like there was no improvement on the combat side of things from Odyssey. And so I was just like, well, I definitely wouldn't. And I know they made the map bigger. They brag about stuff like that. Like, that's what people want.
It sounds so negative. Okay, so is this your gaming like ick? I hate using that word, but this fits perfect. Ick that most people can't understand. Because like for me, right, it's Borderlands. I cannot get into Borderlands to save my life.
As much as I love Borderlands.
See, no, but for the life of me, I bought 3 full price and just to run it with my cousin and played it for like an hour. And
well, I would say 3 has the worst story out of all the Borderlands games. Maybe I'm gonna tell you all Telltales of Borderlands might have a worse story, but
look, no. So how you feel? But it's weird because it's only Borderlands, and I can't explain it. As much as I love RPGs, as much as I love loot grinding for items that I'm never going to use, like you would think Borderlands would be one of my all-time favorites. I hate that game, and I can't explain why. So.
I guess to each their own. I mean, I'm over here like I am offended, but no, because I feel like Borderlands has like the best skill trees. The gunplay ain't exactly the best, but it's like the way Borderlands works is the more you play it, the better the gunplay gets because of the badass rank. And
the more you explore the map, bro, the more cool things you find. Like Did you fight any of those ancient Greek gods and monsters, deities? Like you didn't even get. No, I'm just talking mess, bro. But really, but when it comes to Borderlands, I can't explain it. It makes no sense. It ain't for no other reason than I just can't vibe with it, and I can't explain it.
I think most people I've seen that like dislike Borderlands is usually due to the cel shaded nature of the art style and
I wonder if that's
the
it.
humor. The humor is very much an acquired taste. Like it is very dark humor where you find like they make jokes out of like really really bad circumstances happening to people, and it's just like, oh, like wow, they really went there. But like I guess that just works for me because I'd be laughing my butt off at like some of the stuff that Handsome Jack will say where he's like telling a story and he like popped the guy's eyeball out with a spoon, and just the way he says it has me cracking up. And then like I'm playing with like my friend and he's just like, yo, that's kind of sick, bro. I'm just like, I know I'm terrible, but no, I look, to go back to Assassin's Creed, I just can't play them. Look at that. It is the thing is I never, and I always do this. Like when I know it's a personal thing for me, I don't really like dog the game like that because I know with so many people enjoy it, it must be a quality series that and like this is one of the best sellers for Ubisoft. Like. Yeah. I'm not surprised that they kind of went like lukewarm, as we said, with the content and the effort they put into this, because the Assassin's Creed sells so well. Like it's one of their best selling IPs every time they come out with it, even though I think the last 3 are absolute doo-doo chunks. They have sold better than anything that Ubisoft drops, so it makes sense that they would just double down on the way they do those games, because as far as they're concerned, it's working.
Yeah,
I mean, we're out here selling, so like, what's the problem? So now, let's get into this last topic. I definitely want to talk about this because I'm not hot about it. I'm just very like, I have a lot of thoughts about Factions 2, and so. How do I get into it? So, all right, we heard that Factions 2 have been put on ice after an evaluation or whatever from Bungie. Who, as far as I'm concerned, why are they doing
Emperor Supreme?
Like, why are they the authority on this? But whatever, right? But Bungie gets the game put on ice. This really kind of came back up because they laid off like 25 QA testers, and I also the chief monetization designer for Factions 2, who has been there for a little less than a year, also left. He came over from Epic and Fortnite, and he's leaving. And the game officially behind the scenes is on ice. So to me, this looks like one of two things. They don't want to say, like the way with Deviation Games earlier this year, when we found out that game was on ice after Deviation, like the founders left and they laid off half the studio and stuff, and then we found out the game's canceled later on. They just don't want to say it's canceled, or the game is getting completely redone and it's going to take so long for it to get to a point where you're going to have to QA test it, or you even think about monetization, that there's no purpose in paying these people to sit around the office and do nothing. What's the QA test when you're still building the game? What monetization are you implementing when we don't even know where we're gonna go with things at this point? Or maybe he did his job, he implemented the monetization, and it's just like, yeah, there ain't nothing else I need to do here. And he just left. Kind of like, hey, sometimes an artist will leave when he's finished making the art he has to make in a game. That kind of deal. So, I don't know. I'm kind of like of two minds with it. Forte, you've been kind of quiet for a minute, so I want to hear your thoughts on this. Factions 2, man.
Faction 2, man. You know
what is going on here, man?
Listen, man, that game's not coming.
It's done.
That game's not coming, man. All right,
Stick
no,
a
I ain't
fork
gonna
in
say
it.
No, it's okay. So I think this game is Bungie. Good God. So I think this game is on the shelf. I don't think it's canceled yet, but I mean, depending on how you look at just, you know, Perfect Dark's not canceled either, but we ain't heard nothing about it in a long time because there's a completely different studio working on that in Crystal Dynamic. You know, the initiative might as well just be a name that we just don't even know anymore because they haven't closed the studio.
The initiative initiated the development of the game.
They ain't even doing it.
I just wanted to say, I just wanted to put that together. You know, I had my Red Bull, so I'm a little geeking
so just like that game, I feel like Perfect Dark's not gone. Someone else is working on it, but I guarantee the scope of Perfect Dark is probably not the same that the initiative had. Because Crystal Dynamics in there basically making the game what they want to make it at this point, if we go off of what all the leaks and rumors that we've been hearing around that. So I think that in general, let's look at what first party means to Sony. It means everything to Sony. Let's be for real. First party at PlayStation is what keeps, you know, PlayStation with the quality that they feel like they have in their games. So they, in their minds, if I'm thinking about studios, the one studio that can't mess up a game is Naughty Dog. They can't have a game come out, even if it's a game that's not in their wheelhouse, a game that they traditionally don't make, I should say. It can't come out bad, especially in a climate of in a games as a service mantra where you really don't have a footprint in, and you want people to buy into that, and you know, and a lot of people are going to give Naughty Dog's game a try. Like I said this on Brap yesterday. The reason Bungie got as much love and support they did on Destiny is because they made Halo. People bought Destiny not because they thought Destiny was a cool game. They bought it because, that's the creator of Halo, one of the most influential first-person shooters that was ever created, and people loved them for that. So people gave them even myself, a huge benefit of a doubt, thinking that Destiny was going to be everything we wanted it to be. Now, Destiny ended up not being everything everybody wanted it to be, but they found a way to still make that game persevere. Not too many studios can say they can do that. Not too many studios can say that they can survive with a game that people are just 100% loyal to them for. So can Naughty Dog do that? That's something we don't know. We know they got the name power because of Uncharted, Dak and Jackster, Last of Us Part 1 and 2. We know they got the games behind them, but what are those games? Those are first party single player games. Bungie made a multiplayer game in Halo, and this was a multiplayer co-op game they were making in Destiny, so it was kind of the same realm. So I think in general, they are saying we can't mess this up with Naughty Dog, so we have to put this on the back burner. Well, let's cut all the ties that we have with the contractors, which contractors I know never get severance, so that's a whole nother thing. But that was weird to hear. But I think they put a fork in it. They're going to come back to it at a later date. We may not see this game until the end of this generation, maybe a launch title for the PS6. If you listen to If you listen to Lord King, he'll tell you PS6 is never coming. Who knows at this point? That man is like an oracle right now. He told us that Jim Ryan was going to.
He wrong about that. I'm gonna tell you right. PlayStation 6 is coming.
Listen, this man. I think he's wrong about that
King.
too.
I love. But he wrong about this one. Yeah,
I think he's wrong about that too. But a lot of people thought he was wrong about Jim Ryan retiring before the end of this physical year, and that man go. So,
I'm gonna tell you, I believe he would have been right if Jim Ryan would have stayed. Because think about it, if it's all profit, right? We know for a fact that consoles don't make money. You don't make your money on the console.
Yeah, you make 5% off the console.
Unless you're Nintendo.
Unless you're Nintendo, and then you sell cardboard versions.
But Jesus.
But so knowing that it's all profit and the route they were going, pushing the PC, it'd have been better hand over fist. And we know they can make great games. And then you see we got the Xbox One movie services. Why not just go software or app only? So, but that's a whole nother conversation. I think it's a fork in that, at least until the end of this generation. I don't think they canceled it fully, but I also think that they're going to kind of see what the lay of the land of these live service games that they are releasing to see how their fans, react to them. Now, if their fans don't react to the ones that they did greenlight, because there is one thing that I will say, Bungie greenlit a bunch of games of a service games that got trailers, and we know more about than we ever known about Last of Us factions. We don't know nothing about factions. We just know we don't know anything about Concord either, except there's a sandwich in a spaceship. Listen, but we saw we saw a render in the trailer of that, which is more powerful than a freaking screenshot of concept art that we saw twice for what's that. It's not.
One's a JPEG, and it cost them just the artist to make the JPEG. And the other one did they had to hire a studio to make a CG trailer. But the end result is, I don't know what's going on in this game.
Well, at least one of them I do know a little bit more about what would be happening in the factions too, because there was a factions 1 included in The Last of Us Part 1. Concord, I don't know. Like, I know there's a city called Concord in North Carolina, but I don't know what a Concord game is. Yeah, I've been there. I got family there. But that's how you know.
I got some thoughts on this. I'm gonna hold my thoughts. No, I want to hear from Baron, and I'll hit you guys with my thoughts.
I think they bit off way more than they can chew. They promised a lot and clearly under-delivered, because you charged $70 for a game that was missing. Like when they brought the original, or what do you call it? The second remaster of The Last of Us.
And
then there was no factions in the PS5 one, right?
There was no. Yeah, they just shipped it with the single player. Yeah.
Okay, so now we were salty and angry with that. So then you give us this screenshot of this JPEG, and that's painted. It wasn't even like a 3D. They could at least did an in-game render. Like, obviously they can't. God, this is bad, and I think it's dead.
Yeah,
this is bad, and I think it's dead.
Okay, so this is my thought.
Let's go.
I think that they do intend on releasing this game at some point. I think they do intend on having a Factions 2 that will be a part of their live service catalog. But I think that the end result is that regardless of what their intentions are, it will be canceled. And here's why. So I remember one time we had B Money on, we were talking about Gears, and I said this about Gears. And how I thought the Coalition made a mistake with multiplayer with Gears 4 and 5. It seems like they didn't know what the Gears community wanted out of multiplayer. And I barely play Gears multiplayer. I love the campaign, the story, and the characters, and I've played the campaigns like multiple times. The multiplayer, I don't really rock with it like that. But I know people who do, and I know all they care about is roadie running, wall bouncing, and shotgunning people in the face. That's all they care about. So why are you getting out of that format to add and force people to try to play in a different way they don't want to play? That's not how people want to play Gears. Don't you can't fix something that doesn't need to be fixed. So stop doing that. To go back to factions, all the factions fan base wanted was the same game, the same multiplayer with The Last of Us 2's combat and prettier visuals. That's it. They didn't want that. Like, really, what I think they are suffering from, Naughty Dog, that is feature creep. And it's something that I've seen happen with, like, say, Lost Soul aside. That game was supposed to be out like 4 years ago. Every time they talk to the lead director, I'm adding this, I'm adding that. Ain't nobody asked for that, man. Just drop the game. Like, you keep adding stuff, yet your game has gotten so big that you had to get a whole nother team to help you make it because it's too big. Pause. So, like, you have to get it focused back to what it was supposed to be. Every time they talked about factions and they showed us a screenshot, we're gonna have a map that's massive. Who wanted that? Why are you doing that?
That you can shoot your gun in.
Yeah, I'm like, we're gonna have like all these. Why are you doing any of this stuff? Like, could you just give people what they wanted in the first place? Now, maybe you feel like you can't monetize that like that. Now, I understand, but here we are. You made this massive, mismatch or whatever. Bungie comes in, looks at it, and goes, no. What is this? That's not going to work. And now you laying off QA testers. Because what's there to QA? Because you got to go back to the drawing board. You got to rescope the game back to something that can work, that Bungie will say yes to. You got, your monetization dude is rolling out because who knows what is going to be in the end result for that. And I think that when they finally get down to getting something that is going to be shippable, it's going to be like an Anthem Next situation where the publisher's going to look at it, look how much they're going to have to spend on it, and can we monetize this in the way that we wanted to monetize what you were doing before? And the answer is going to be no. They're going to say, all right, well, it's a wrap. So very quietly, I think this is going to go away. And it won't be an announcement, because frankly, Naughty Dog ain't announced jack about factions. Everything that we've had to learn about factions 2 has been through leaks. Everything from the very beginning, when we found out that it wasn't going to be in The Last of Us Part 2. That wasn't them announcing it. That was a leak. And then later on that week, they came out and confirmed, yeah, so look, we're gonna do some grand with it. It's gonna be great, it's gonna be big, it's gonna be awesome. It's so big, we couldn't even put it in the game. So we're gonna make it its own thing, okay? It'll be later, don't worry, we got you. Okay.
Hold me down.
Right. The next thing we find out, everything has been a leak. And it's not been, when finding out that Bungie laughed at, well, I'm exaggerating, they didn't laugh at, but found out Bungie, wasn't very happy with Factions 2 in the state that it was earlier this year. There was no announcement, hey, look, we've had a setback with the game, and look, we appreciate you guys being patient with us. We apologize, but we're going to get the game out as soon as we can. We just got to, reevaluate some things, dig in, and we'll get it. No, it was a leak. Another leak that they had to respond to. And so everything that comes out about the game is a leak. And I feel like when the next thing we hear about the game, which will be a while from now, I don't think we're going to hear anything about this game for a long time. But the next thing we hear about this game is, yeah, that's it's a wrap for that. It's done. Because I think if you would go from you started out with, let's just do a better version of what we did before, to now let's make it like some massive thing that no one asked for, but let's go for it. And then you go from that to, let's go back to what we were supposed to be doing originally in the first place. How long have we been doing this? How long have people been waiting for it? Is it even like the amount of hours you're putting in, the amount of people that you're adding to it to make it work? Like, is it worth it at that point? Is it? I don't think so. So my theory, just my theory, I think that they intend on still releasing this, but by the time they really look at the reality of things, they're just going to cancel it.
It's SloMo. I think you're right. I think you're right.
Of course, it agrees with me. It knows.
I agree with you more than you think.
This is probably true. Let's get on out of here. I think we've had a very, very good conversations with some really great topics, but it's getting late. I don't want to keep Baron too late. You know, me and Forte would be talking for another hour usually, but yeah, we wouldn't need to do that. Baron, glad to have you, sir. Hopefully not the last time we have you on. Please let everyone know where they can find you and what you got going on.
Yeah, anything anything where I want you to find me is Baron J67. But of course, I co-own and write and record content and edit and all type of other stuff. If you see something spelled wrong, it is Famous Entertainment's fault. But yes, over at lv1gaming.com or youtube.com/lv1gaming20. Everything from news to reviews and everything in between. That's what we cover and focus on. And we have a weekly show on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 2XP Podcast. We just had Miller Ross on, the great Avenger. That's what I like to call him, the Avenger guy. And yeah, so you guys can go watch that or catch us next week.
And you'll find all of that in the description. The YouTube channel for Level 1 Gaming, as well as Baron's Twitter profile. All that's in there in that description. Definitely go check those people out. Very good people, great conversations. I try to check out the podcast whenever I have the free time. On Wednesday, usually I'm like running around with kids, but I try to keep it on in the background and listen in when I can. And definitely like check out their reviews. They do a good job on the reviews as well. Forte. I specifically recall 2 weeks ago, we were talking and it was like the end of the show, and I said, Forte, you ain't dropped a video in a long time. And then you said, I will have a video out before the next show.
I did say that.
And you did not.
I also wasn't
2 shows.
I actually wasn't feeling good earlier this week, so yes, that didn't happen though. So I do take responsibility for that, but I will have one next week, or this week, I should say.
Okay. Okay. Just
we'll just keep that short. We'll just keep that short and sweet. Yeah, you're right. You got me.
see, it feels good to be on the other, have the shoe on the other foot. I got a video coming out in a couple days. I'm
Where is that video?
Content. I'm working on it, man.
You've been working on it how long?
It's in the oven.
How long you been working? How long that oven been on? That electric bill real high now.
Hey, look. At least I got the ingredients. You haven't even opened the cookbook up to know what you making. You ain't got nothing right now. I'm literally in the oven, man. It's on 375 right now. It's just it's going.
There you go.
He ain't got all the toppings in it. Yeah, he got to take it out and put it back in for another 2 weeks.
Nah, we good. Nah. You go before next episode. I would say before next DPS episode, I will have a video out.
Oh, okay. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see.
We'll see.
But yeah, we're gonna get on out of here. Forte, do you have your channel member topics? I said channel member topics. What is a channel member topic? I don't know what that is.
That's what Lucas says. You take it after your mom all the way.
I don't know who that is. Anyway,
you don't know who your mom is?
I know who my mom is. I don't know who you are speaking of, but
the woman that gave you your voice.
Can you?
Yes, I will do my channel members. Shout out to Barry for coming through. Really appreciate you, bro. Super happy to have you on the show. Now you have a key to the village, so you could come in and raid the refrigerator every once in a while. No problems with that. We definitely don't have a problem. We keep it fresh. Keep it stocked with Kool-Aid. It's always good. And then for channel members, I want to say first of all, shout out to everybody that supports us in this way. Definitely not needed, but definitely very much appreciated. Brat, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, Donnell Brown, Dragonheart Yobi, Stardust Cicero, Ramon Terrell, Trevor Birdsong, Hargy Chini, Corey Hale, SloMoBackSlap, DJ Auras, and that guy Smitty. Really appreciate you guys, and we will see you guys next week for episode 151 on my channel. Yep, see you there. Enjoy the games you're playing.
And on my side of things, I have Erodimus, Babe, Donnell Brown, Dragonheart Yobi, Enrique Haki Shinichu Serum, Trevor Birdsong, Homie-One Kenobi, Forte, Corey Hale, Stardust Cicero, and that guy Smitty. And yeah, like Forte said, we really appreciate you guys coming out to support us in that way. It is much appreciated. We hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Unlike myself, because I'm about to go watch the replay of my Commanders lose to a winless team.
It was bad.
Oh my gosh! Like, why do this always?
Why would you watch it if you know how it's going to turn out?
Because I am a glutton for punishment. That's why. We're getting out of here though.
I'm about to go watch Ahsoka. That's what I'm about to go do.
Ahsoka. Oh yeah, the finale was good.
Yeah, I didn't watch the finale. I'm about to go watch it.
All right, we are out of here. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.